Hi internet world, welcome once again to Panther TV. Today I'm here to clear some of the doubts some people are having due to my past post regarding the incident that is going on in Ukraine with Russia, and then regarding the foreigners that were able to travel to Europe, what were the difficulties they are facing, or what are the difficulties they are still facing right now. Due to the post that I did previously, I have some people commenting on my videos saying that why didn't you go back to your country, well, I responded to that post particularly, but I don't think that was what I supposed to do, because due to the responded that I gave to the post was me just being with an anger responding to whatever they were saying back. So today I'm here again to respond to the post, but with a calm way. Let's be realistic. If you as a student went to a particular country, let's say for example what happened in Liberia, let's say a student went back to Liberia to study, and due to the war that happened in Liberia during the 90s, some of the students were able to travel abroad to go seek refuge there, or some of them were from other part of Europe. They were able to seek refuge in other parts of Africa. So with that, Africa provided them a shelter. I know most of the people that are watching are young guys, young children. I call them children because they just came about to understand that life is about you eat and run, and that's what the leaders have been doing all this while. The leaders have been doing the same thing to us by just take their own portion of our wealth and then disappear. So today I'm here to finalize the whole conversation on the old comment they were posting. I noticed most of the people that were posting are mostly from Nigeria. If you are staying in Nigeria, right, and your own president cannot take care of you, the people that are reside in Nigeria, and a lot of people were able to travel abroad to seek a better life. But you as a Nigerian were able to be in other part of the country, let's say like Sweden, few years ago or whatsoever, and then now you are able to make your life better there, and then there is a war in Ukraine, some other student from Nigeria, other part of the world, and then I posted a post to be able to tell the world. I was not even talking to people with no position in their life, because when I mean people with no position in their life, I mean if you as a simple worker, you are situated in Europe, the post that I did was not for you. You should have just watched it or just don't watch it. But since some of you were posting regarding the post that I did, say if there is a war in Ukraine, you have to go back to your country. At first I was so depressed with that, because how can a human being be thinking that if somebody left his country to come and have a better life in Europe, and then the most important thing, the war happened in a particular country where he or she is situated at that particular moment, he lost a lot of things. And due to the trauma, you cannot just be telling the person to go back home because there is no war back home. Imagine what the person already lost. Some of them lost 7 to 8 years of their life by trying to go to school, and then some of them were able to start manifesting their talents. Some of them were musicians, some of them were trying to become an entrepreneur as well. And then all you as an individual watching my video, you have to just say it, go back to your country. It's kind of disheartening to be hearing that coming from a black person. And let me clear all the black guys that were commenting or they were lamenting on my videos, talking about go back to your country, or your country did not have war, why don't you just return back home? I'm not going to make this whole video for you. I'm just going to say, okay, let's take an example. When our resources were stolen from Africa, or when the resources of Africa were getting taken by European Union, right? Some of those things we are ready to pay back, or some of those things are supposed to pay back to us. It's not going to be to the country, but to the fact that you as an individual, you came back from a country wherein the war started. Why do you have to go back home? If you take a look at it, our resources are mostly found in Europe, and our leaders are stealing some of our wealth and then send it back to Europe. They make us go through all this type of things. So if individual here in Ukraine, or individual in Ukraine try to seek refuge in Europe as a student, Do you know how it was when the war started? It was at 4 o'clock in the morning. None of us was thinking about anything. Some people left without no document. Because at the end of the day, your life is more precious than anything you have. And then these people come to seek refuge in this part of Europe. Europeans were treating them like a beast, or Europeans are treating them like a beast by not allowing them to even have a shelter. And then you as an individual, I make a video to post it to give awareness to people with position, people in power, and you just have the opinion because they said opinion are free to everyone. You were just posting. Why don't you just reason out? It's a very simple matter. If you know that you have a position to talk about a situation like that, go do it on your own channel. Why do you have to come to my own post and then be writing, go back to Africa? And let me be realistic with you. The Africa you're talking about is all our own Africa. If you as a black man, you think that you telling an individual that is supposed that was on the video because I posted it, does not mean that I was into the situation. I might be better than most of the people that you saw on the video, or even you that is watching. But that's not my situation. My situation today is this. Where are all the minerals that were stolen from Africa? Where are they? Some of them are in Europe. Yes, some of them are in Europe. So if some of those minerals are in Europe, and Europe was able to manipulate those minerals for it to become something international right now, why do you have to tell the individual coming from Ukraine running for his life to go back to Africa? We paid to stay in Ukraine. Go back to Africa, it simply means that's the end of your life. Because the reason why you left Africa for the first time is because you want to have a better life. And you came to Europe to study to Ukraine and then finish there and then try to find a better job. Because our leaders refuse to give us the opportunity of having a quality education. And when I say the education system in Ukraine is very cheap, due to the USSR, they were able to build a very sophisticated university, wherein as a student, you can be able to watch or be able to do practical of whatever things you're studying. Like for example, some students were studying petroleum engineering. And when they were studying this kind of petroleum engineering, the equipment were there for them to see it physically, vividly. You know, so some of you guys that are workers in Europe trying to clean street, trying to go work from 9 to 5, you think that you saw a post on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, the best approach to it is to tell the person broadcasting the stuff to go back home. I'm just a creator. I'm not just an awareness producer. I'm just trying to produce and provide awareness to individuals. If you were able to come across my video, you watch my video, there's no need for you to be trying to give negative feedback to the individual in the video. Because those individuals are praying for your feedback to be very good so that the word can be spread out. That's the case. So, and I noticed most of the European people, like 17, 18, 19, 20 years old people that were just born 2000, 2001, we are posting the same thing. If Ukraine has war, why don't you go back home? Do you know how we suffered to be able to mix between the midst of Ukrainian? And let's forget about that. Do you know what really happened? What some of our parents had to do to sell back some of our properties that we're supposed to be inherited from our fathers? They sold some of those stuff for us to be able to travel to Europe to learn education. And now we have free opportunity to come and see what our fathers, our great-grandfathers, were having the European Union stole from them, or the Europe stole from them, and we're here to try to make sure that we have a better life. And some of you are just posting, go back to your country, it's not a war. If you think war is wearing somebody holding a gun, that's, I'm sorry to say this, but that's stupid of you. Because when we talk about war, we came from African nation. We have been fighting war all our life. It's not about you holding guns, shooting each other. That's the type of war. That's part of the war I'm talking about. But we have a different type of war. War of hunger, war of disease. You know, war of political instability. War of the fact that we have a criminal people taking over the power. They are doing some things that are really, really not for the favor of a young guy. As a young individual, 20, 30, 35, 40 years old, have the intellect. Try to have the intellect. Think vividly. If a young people like people I saw in Brussels, sleeping outside, prefer to stay outside, prefer to make sure that they have the document of a European citizenship, or prefer to have a refuge over into Europe. Despite the fact that the weather was so very cold, or despite the fact that the weather is so cold, or the people in Europe are still not appreciating the fact that these are individuals, these are human beings. Let's be realistic. You that is saying go back to Africa, what have you done for the development of Africa? Okay, if you as a European person, you said go back to your country, do you know what your great-grandfather, do you know what your father stole from us? And I'm not saying this as a revenge issue. If you want, you can take it that way. Your father stole a lot from us, Africans. And the people that are suffering that is not the people that are dead already, it's the people that are alive. So some of us, we are here back to take some of what we're supposed to have, or take our birthright. Some of you were just able to born 2000, 2001, you don't even know your history. And if you don't know your history, it's better time you try to refine or research about your history. You know, this is Panther TV, and I'm ready to break this thing down for individuals that are having negative thought, or because of the incident that's happening in Ukraine, thinking that due to the fact that Ukraine is in war, who is Ukrainian? Ukrainian are everybody that was living in Ukraine. That's Ukrainian. Because if an individual died in Ukraine at that time, if an individual died in Ukraine at that time during the war, it was the fact that he was a victim of war. So he's a Ukrainian, he died because he was a Ukrainian. When they're counting the people that are there at that particular moment. If you as a Ukrainian student, you were there in Ukraine trying to study, and then it's a refuge for you to come to abroad to continue your lifestyle, it's a profit for you. It's not for you to be trying to say go back to your country. So I'm defining this thing. And European, you know, once again, this is me. I'm trying to say we are here for quite a while now, month or two. War has never been preferred for any nation, neither any generation. So this is the purpose of me trying to make this video for all the European individuals or all the European leaders that are watching. You have tried so hard. You have supported the war. Whatever way support means, for an individual down there, they have their own negative thought about it. But for me, my own support, we have POA, we have prisoner of war. We have people that are here in Europe right now. They are going through a lot of difficulties. And if you are thinking about sending us back home, well, you might be right about that. But since we are here at the moment, why don't you just try to provide shelter for us? We have all the equipment, all the materials. If China can build a hospital during COVID within 10 days, it's been a month now. It's supposed to build for us a bigger auditorium or a bigger house, bigger building for us to stay. And I don't want nobody to be telling me go back to your country. Because to be frank with you, if you're telling me go back to my country, do you know what the resources are left back in Ukraine? Do you know what are the infrastructure, or what are the things that we put in place in Ukraine? As you can see, I'm a producer, music producer, I'm a musician, I'm a director, I have movies. I have intellect that I was supposed to be even having my own clothing line. But I cannot start that back in Africa. I can't start that back in Africa because the fact that all of the African leaders, they are simply not leaders. They are simply not leaders. They are just somebody that they are just there to just make sure they have their own stomach filled with some of our resources and then send it over here. Because if you take a look at every African leader, they have close to 15 to 20 houses. And the war is happening here. They are not even thinking about let's put our children back to those houses so that they can continue their education. They are thinking about sending planes to send us back home. When they send us back home, they have no provision for us. How can you send somebody back home with no provision? You African leaders are the people that are really making this life of a young black man very hard from Africa. Because the fact that they don't even respect us as an individual, as a young individual coming up. You have so many houses in Europe, all over the world. Okay, what was the embassy for? What was you having an embassy in Europe for? If you have an embassy in Europe and a situation like this happened, what was the simple situation for you to take your children and put them in this embassy and then try to find a refined way for them to be able to continue their education? But this is just me thinking. But since I've been thinking since, Europe, why don't you just provide a shelter for most of the African people that are there? You came to Paris right now, you see a lot of foreigners just roaming around the street. Crazy, dead, almost. No job, no nothing. You know? And this is not about you telling black people to go back to Africa, because if you think that your country is Europe, or your country is where you are situated right now, or where you are giving back to, you're just getting it all wrong. You're just getting it all wrong. Because for real, It's not where you're born. It means it's your country. It's where you're able to grow up or where you're able to successful. That's your country. We have a lot of European people back in Africa making a lot, making livelihood, making a very big livelihood there. We have Chinese people back in Africa stealing all our resources. Make sure that they have a very better life for their children. You can't tell them to go back to China. You can't just tell them to go back to China. But they came from China, they came from Europe, they came from America. Okay, because we are students, right? We came to Europe to study, and then situation happened. Now you're telling us to go back home. So imagine now some of us, like we return back home, we tell all the European Union all the European people to travel back to their own country, and they leave all their equipment, all their resources they have there. Is that the unifying nation we're trying to create? Is that what the European Union simply drawing people together? But we have all the equipment, we have all the materials. You guys have all the materials and tools to build a house less than 10-20 days. We see it in China, we see it in UAE, building massive houses for people to be able to stay there. This is not us trying to seek refuge or trying to seek asylum. This is not even asylum anymore. This is the fact that situation already changed to the next page. And to start another new life, do you know how hard it is? Do you know how hard it is to start a new life? It's really, really hard, especially for a person like me. For a person like me to go just turn back from where I was trying to put myself together, and then everything started happening, and I had to turn to a new page, clean shit. I don't even know the question, and I start to answer questions that I don't even know how to answer about. You know. Let me bring back my temper down. As you all know, this is Panther TV. Today, I just want every individual that's watching. It's not about you telling other people to go back to their country. I'm not telling you what you're saying is not right. But what is the preparation? You can tell somebody to go back to their country if you have provided plane ticket for the individual. You can tell somebody to go back to the country if you, as an individual, are saying that you are in the country. But you are not in the country, you are outside the country. And the minimum wage you are making is not even, it's just because of some of you have a low budget, or maybe just thinking so myopic, just so small. That's why some of you are just be responding, go back to your country. Because if they check some of you, you just have one small tiny room apartment with one small minimum car. People are not buying cars anymore, people are buying planes. If some of us that are here or we are in Ukraine, we are having the opportunity to come to Europe. Now we take a look at how your life is. Some of us are even better than you before. Some of us are even better than you guys in Europe telling other people to go back home. Some of you European people as well. We are talking to the government. We're not talking to individuality. We never come open a website say donate to the African people from Ukraine. They've been donating to Ukrainian. We don't have qualms about it. We know that this is Ukrainian war. But you donating to Ukrainian, you can just look at the side of it. Just give us shelter, give us food for now. Because you donating to Ukrainian army, Ukrainian people is good. It's definitely good. But since we are part of these people, try to give us shelter and provide us of accommodation to stay or food to eat. For the meantime, we want to work. If you have a job, just give us a job. We don't even worry about how much money you're going to pay us for now. Just let's try to make life start from the beginning first. Send it back home. Talk to African leaders. What's wrong? Everything has been going on. European Union, European leaders have been talking to all over the world. Have been talking about what is going on. You can never hear African leaders talk about us, the students that were in Ukraine. You know? Okay, due to the fact that the war already happened, let's just pray this shit don't never happen to other European countries. But what is the preparation of African people, African leaders? Are you going to build universities? Are you going to provide jobs for all the foreigners? Are you going to be more intelligent by you watching what is happening in Russia or what the Russian president is doing? Are you going to be more smart by you making a business deal with other international body, other European country, other international world? Like, for example, what is happening in China right now? China is buying Africa. Nobody's talking about it. And when these leaders die now, some of us return back home. We try to take back those situations. There is world breakout. Africa versus China. That's the same thing that is happening right now internationally. The deal was signed between Russia and then Ukraine. Now the children of Ukraine grow old and then they're like, no, we don't agree with this deal. That's the same thing that's going to happen back in Africa and other part of the world. So we have to be very smart. It's not because it's happening in Ukraine, it means you cannot learn from the lesson that is going on in Ukraine. Try to learn from it. African leaders, you are killing us. You are killing us. The most important message about this particular video is to tell African leaders they are killing us. And as you can see, I'm the referee for this then. I'm the referee for that. So I'm just trying to pass the message to all African leaders. Why are you killing us slowly? Why? You cannot even learn from the mistakes that is going on. Look at the fuel crisis now. Everybody's suffering it. Africans are going through depression due to the fuel prices. Prices are just skyrocketing. But the African leaders are watching all this thing. They are not saying anything. They're not putting anything into place. All they think about is just stay in power. They have these escort cars flying around with them, and then they have this plane. Why? Why? What is happening in the world? What is really going on in the world? Why are everybody just mute about the incident that is going on with African young black men in Europe? Why are all our celebrities having this couple of $1 million, don't even have the initiative of creating awareness or creating a way where they can help the young black men, the young black women, the young black people, the foreigners, the individual? Look at what India did. And then some of you will be sitting down and saying India is a poor nation. They take a flight to come to a particular country, take all their individual students that were able to travel by, go back, build a university for their children to be able to study there with a low cost of fees. You know, these are what leaders are supposed to be doing. Learn from an incident that just happened. But African leaders are not even thinking about that. They're not even thinking about that. They're not even saying anything. The only thing they have been thinking about is how to really stand for the next election. But if I, as an African, I'm in Africa right now. Okay, I am an African. If I was in Africa right now, the most intelligent thing I would tell any individual, be my mom, my dad, anybody that is watching, why do you have to re-elect somebody that did not even respond or is not even learning from what is happening internationally? I think some of our leaders are very old for them to start hand over the power to the younger generation. I think that's the most important thing. I think it's high time the election has to go, the election procedure has to be from 30 to 40 years old so that we have young people in the power. Because what is happening right now is not even favorable. These people are too old to even stand and listen when the white man is speaking. They are too old to even listen to a very good English, because the English are all, every year the English is modified. Every year the white man can have a very big time that the old black man, president or old minister or leaders close by cannot even understand what the white man is saying. This is high time we start put younger generation into the power so that we can take over this particular generation to the next level. What is this? What is going on? What is going on? We are talking about how to save millions of foreigners internationally, and they are trying to campaign how to become in power in the next year. That's 70 years old, 60 years old. What are you doing with power anymore? What is your plan? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? The system is so weak that you cannot even stand upright to pee. These African leaders cannot even stand upright to pee anymore. They cannot even sit down and listen to what you white individuals are saying for less than 20 seconds. They start sleeping. Africans, don't vote for any old person anymore. Don't vote for any old person anymore. This is high time we start putting young generation into the power, so that we'll be able to argue we'll be able to talk about the movement of Africans, of Africa as well. Let's stop putting old folks into power. That's the old important thing about the story. European Union, please try to take, since you are trying to send us back to our country, it's high time you do it, but do it respectfully. Don't be putting cuffs on individual from Africa to go back to his country. First. Second, if you are doing like that, make sure when the politics or when we start having our vote, try to put younger generation into power. Make sure you never try to put your mouth into it.